Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here, and I am back with another tutorial. This particular tutorial is somehow scary, but we are going to do it. By the way, I am done drafting the pattern. This video is for the pattern drafting. The tutorial is really long, especially this pattern drafting. It is really long. That's why I had to divide it into two parts. This one is the cutting, the pattern drafting and the cutting. The second one will be the sewing. The sewing will be easier. The main job here is the cutting. Now I'm going to be using a pattern paper for the front and for the back, and our pattern paper will be on fold. It will be on fold, just like the way you fold your fabric. Should I call this an asymmetric corset? It's an asymmetric corset because all the sides are just different, like they have different lengths. The neckline has different lengths, the basque has a different length, the side measurements, the side seams have different lengths. So we are going to learn that. Now this is the fabric that I'll be using. 1 yard of fabric should be very enough for this corset. If you are not a plus size though, from size 6 to size 12 can actually use 1 yard for it. Now this is my pattern paper, and I'll be using this for the front. First of all, I will fold my pattern paper into two. Like I told you guys, I am cutting out this corset on fold. Now I have folded my paper, and I will start off by cutting this corset as an off shoulder. You know the way you cut an off shoulder dress, you subtract a few inches at the top before marking your bust points and co. I subtracted like 5 inches. For now, let's keep it at 5 inches. I took out 5 inches. My bust point is 10, chest line is 8, under bust is 13, half length is 17 inches. Then the full length, I want to keep it at 25 inches for now. I want to keep the full length at 25 inches. After trimming and everything, you can now give it the length you want. Now I am done marking my lines, and I'll go ahead and label my chest line, my bust points, my under bust, and my half length, then full length. I have not added any allowance. I will not be adding any allowance to this pattern. For now, I will add my allowance on my fabric. I hope you understand. Now I want to cut out the rest of the paper because I will not be needing that. And after cutting out the rest of the paper, this corset has multiple darts. It has up to 4 darts at the front, but I don't want to give it multiple darts so that most of us can relate. I will just give it like 4 darts at the front instead of 5 or 6. Now I'll mark my normal darts, my normal nipple to nipple. My nipple to nipple is 7, so 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I marked 3.5. I'm using my body. I'm a slim person. If your nipple to nipple is 8, if you divide it, it will be 4, right? Just go ahead and mark your 4. At the under bust, I will take out 1 inch on both sides of the under bust. This is for my under bust tightening. Under bust tightening, the dart will not be deep. It will not be too deep, so just take out 1 inch on both sides, and then you connect it to your bust point. After connecting it to the bust point, at the full length of this corset, at the full length of the corset, we are going to take out half an inch on both sides of the dart line. Half inch here and half inch here. This is more like a Victorian. It is a Victorian corset cell, but let me just reduce the darts to 3 darts. Let me just give it 3 darts. Yes, 3 darts or 3 darts. I don't want to give it too many darts so that we will not get confused. We can still achieve whatever we want to achieve with the 3 darts. Then I'll go ahead and shade. After shading, for the upper bust tightening, I will take out 1 inch at the dart line. I'll take out 1 inch at the right and 1 inch at the left side of the dart line. This is for our upper bust tightening. You know, you have to make it tight at the upper bust so that it will not be revealing your breast. Then I'll go ahead and connect it to my bust point. And after connecting, I will shade. One thing I do when I'm cutting that, when I'm marking that, is I'll always shade so that I'll know what I'm cutting out. Then at the center front, at the half length, come in by half an inch. At the half length, this time around, at the half length, come in by half an inch. Then you will connect upwards. You will connect up to your neckline. And then at the full length, you are going to take out 0.3. At the half length, I took out 0.5, but this is the center piece. This is the center piece of this corset. At the half length, I took out 0.5. At the full length, I will take out 0.3, and I'll go ahead and mark. I want to give it a dot at the center. I want it to have a center line. Then I am going to shade this. Then these are the only dots that I'll be giving to this corset. For the rest, I'll just leave it like that. If you want to give it another dot at the side, you can also do that. I will show you guys how to add that type of dot in case you want to add that type of dot to yours. Now I am taking my bust measurements, that is 36 divided by 4. I will mark. No allowance at this point, no allowance. At the half length, let's leave the under bust. The under bust tightening will take care of the under bust measurement. Then at the half length, I'll take my waist measurement. So first of all, measure the darts you have at your half length. You know, you will take out some darts at your half length. So I measured it. I have like 1.8 inches at the center and half inch at the other side. So I have 1.8 at the nipple to nipple darts and 0.5 at the center dart. So divide your waist by 4 and add back 0.5 and 1.8. I just measure the darts you took out there and replace them. You replace those darts. That's allowance. Now I have connected from my bust measurement to my waist measurement. At the upper bust, at the top, measure your upper bust. So if you measure your upper bust, it will be smaller than your normal bust measurement. My upper bust is 33 inches. So 33 plus 2 inches. You know, I took out 1 inch darts on that center dart. I'll take out 1 inch. I took out 1 inch, so I'll go ahead and replace the 1 inch. Two of them is 2 inches. So 33 divided by 4 plus 2 inches, and I will mark. Replace all your darts. Then you are going to connect from your bust point to your upper bust. For now, do not give it any neckline shape. Leave it like this. Then at the full length, I am going to take my hip measurement at my full length. My hip measurement is 40 divided by 4. That is 10, right? Plus 1 inch here and the 0.3 I took on the other side. All the darts I took, I'll go ahead and replace them. So my 40 plus 1.3, 40 divided by 4 plus 1.3, then I will connect. Now this is what we have. If you want to add another dart to this corset, you will add it after taking all these measurements, but remember to add extra allowance for that particular dart. So if you want to add another dart to this corset, what you are going to do is that at the under bust, from the under bust, the side piece at the under bust, just take your full measurement and find the midpoint. Let's say the full measurement is 4, the midpoint will be somewhere around 2. So you go ahead and mark a straight line here, and you take out half inch at the half length. That is how you can insert another dart here. But I don't want to use that particular dart because I don't want to get us confused. Let's just use the ones we have now. This corset is somehow confusing. You take half and half at the half length, but for now, let me leave it here. I'll go ahead and cut out all my darts. I'll cut off all my darts, and after cutting off all the darts, I will have like 4 pieces at the front. I am done cutting off my darts. So if you open them up, you can see what I have there. I have 4 pieces. I'll just go ahead and number them 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 pieces. I hope the other line is not confusing us. So now these are the pieces we have. The next thing that we are going to do is that we will close all these darts on the paper. See, you cannot just sew this corset without closing this dart. Another way you can do it is that after joining all your fabric, you can just go ahead and trace out the neckline and the side and all that. You just give it the type of shape you want. That's another way of doing it. You will have to join all your pieces. After joining them, you give it the shape you want. But for me, I want to do some manipulate. I want to do everything on my pattern paper before I'll start sewing. So with the help of my masking tape, I will close all the darts. I'll just go ahead and close all the darts. I like doing this because it will give me a clear view before transferring everything to my fabric. So you may not do this alone, you may need some help. And if you notice, I did not add bust darts. If you want to add bust darts, fine, but since I'm going to be doing some trimmings, the bust darts may not really be necessary. So I am closing the side darts. I'm closing the side darts right now. And after closing the side darts, like the normal nipple to nipple darts, after closing all of them, I will close the center darts. Remember, this is just the front piece for now. We still cut out the back pieces, the back piece. So this is the center dart. I'll also go ahead and close my center darts. So after closing my darts, this is what I have, but I don't want to do my markings on this side of the paper. Let me turn the other side of the paper so that we will not get confused. You can see there's no neckline, there's nothing for now. I just have my full length, that is 25 inches. So let me use this side of the paper. It will be clearer. There is no masking tape on this side. So I'll just turn to the side. You have your bust, your upper bust tightening and everything. Now it is time to start tracing. I hope you can see my chest line, my bust point line, my half length line. I hope you can still see those lines now. So I will start by tracing my right side neckline. The right side neckline is somehow higher. So this is the right side neckline. I will curve it. It is pointy. I will curve it. It will start from your chest line. Remember, your armhole will stop at your chest line. The armhole is the chest line. Then I am done marking that particular right side neckline, and then this is where the neckline will stop at, and I'll mark a straight line down. You should stop somewhere before your dart line. I'll mark a straight line down, then I'll mark another straight line. This straight line should be like 2.5 inches apart. This is the place where you will do your lacing. You fix eyelets here. Let me just shade it so that you understand what I'm talking about. So now these places that I'm marking this is they are just a representation of the lacing that you will do around there. So the first neckline will go up, then you will see your lacing, then the other neckline will come down a little bit, to come down by like 1 inch or 1.5. Now I am done doing that one. For the right half length, for the right waistline full length, for the right full length, from your half length, you will come down by, let's say, 2 inches or 3 inches highest. It depends on the full length of your corset. From my half length, I came down by 2 inches and I marked a line. This is for the right side of this corset. Then for the left side, I will come down by 4 inches from my half length and I will mark another line. You can see that this one now is longer than the other side. They are not equal. So this is the other one. I'll go ahead and mark a straight line. This is the other full length. You can see the right side of this corset is shorter at the full length. I'll go ahead and cut off that one. That's why I said you should close everything on your pattern paper. It is way easier, very easy. Now I'll also go ahead and cut out the full length of the left side, and you can see that the full length of the left side is longer also. Now this is what we have. I'll go ahead and complete the neckline of the left side. The neckline of the left side will be 1 inch shorter than the right side neckline. So I'll go ahead and cut off the right side neckline. It will go up, and then the other neckline will come down a bit. After marking all these, now you can cut out this place where our lacing will be at. You can now cut it open. So this corset has lacing at the front. At the back also, if you want to lace it, fine, but I want to add zipper. I don't want it to have lace in front and back. I want it to have a zipper at the back. So I am done cutting. You can see what I have right there. So I'll go ahead and reopen all my dart lines. I'll just go ahead and reopen all my dart. You know, I close it with my masking tape. I'll just go ahead and reopen all my dart lines so you can see what I have right now. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, and all of them have different shapes. That's just the confusing thing. And please mark an arrow at the top, so that if you get any piece, you know the top, like the upper parts of the pattern. So that's why I marked this arrow on all of them. Once I get it, I already know the top of the pattern. So this is what we have for the front. Then for the back, we already know that our neckline stopped at the armhole. So I'm just trying to like label the right side. This is the right side. This one will be on the right. The other one will be on the left side on our body. These ones that I wrote right, they will be on the right side of your body. Then the one on the left will be on the left. After the lacing, you will now start counting left side. Now, you know, the neckline of the back will start from the chest line, because the front neckline ended at the chest line. So 2 of them will meet at the chest line, 2 of them will meet at the armhole. 2 of them will meet at the armhole. So for this back pattern paper, we are starting our measurements from 8 inches. That is our chest line. First of all, I'll go ahead and mark out a zipper allowance. Like I said, I will be adding a zipper to the back of this corset. I'll be adding a zipper to the back of the corset. So right now, this is what I have. And like I said, all my measurements will be starting from 8 inches. 8 inches is my chest line. 8 inches is my chest line. So the 8 inches will meet with the 8 inches, the armhole of the front. So this is my chest line. Then from there, I'll mark my half length and then 25 inches. You will still mark 25 inches here. You will still mark 25 inches. If you want to reduce the length of the back, you can also reduce it. But let's leave it at 25 inches for now. Now I have my chest line, half length and full length. I'll go ahead and cut the remaining piece of the paper off. You can see that this pattern is on fold, right? So for the back of this corset, it will have a normal dart. It will have a normal dart. I marked my dart line, and I'll take out half an inch on both sides of the dart. It will have a normal dart. So if you want the back to have multiple darts, also fine, but I don't want to give it multiple darts. This one is just okay for me. I don't want to confuse all of you. Now I'll take my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for my dart allowance. My bust divided at my chest line, I'll take my bust divided by 4 plus no allowance for now. At the hip, I'll divide my hip by 4, and I'll go ahead and connect the lines. After connecting the lines, I will cut out. So now, this is what we have at the back. After doing that, I'll just open up the pattern paper and I will extend my half length so that I will know the half length on both sides of this paper. It is very important. Now I am cutting out the darts. I'll open the darts. I want it to be in pieces. I'll open the darts. After opening the dart, I'll also open my zipper allowance. This is back pattern. I hope you remember. I'll open my zipper allowance. And then if I open all of them, I have 4 pieces at the back. I'll also go ahead and label them 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll also mark an arrow to indicate the top, to indicate the upper part of this pattern. It is very important. Always mark your arrows. It will help you when cutting out on your fabric. Now I am done doing this stuff. The next thing is that I hope we know that the sides of our corset have irregular lengths. So I'm labeling the ones that will be on the left side and the ones that will be on the right side to avoid confusion. The right side of this corset, the waistline is shorter. The left side, the waistline is longer. So this one is the one that will be on the right. I'll bring the right of the front, the side seam of the front, the right. You can see I placed it. I make sure that the half lengths are matching. Then you indicate where the length will stop at, so that the one at the front and the one at the side will be equal. Then you also get the side seam of the front, the left side seam, and place and also indicate where the two of them will meet, so that when you are joining your front and your back, all of them will meet on their respective half lengths. The side seam of the right is different from the side seam of the left. That's why I am merging all of them to be sure that they are equal on the paper. Then after indicating all the lengths that they will have, I will now go ahead and cut. I'll give it, let's say, a back shape. It will not affect my zipper allowance. Though if you want to reduce your zipper allowance, you can still reduce your zipper allowance. So I'll relabel my number 1 because I cut the number 1 that I wrote there off. Then I'll place the other sides, the right sides, and you can see where the full length is at. I'll also cut from there, and it will not affect my zipper allowance. Maybe at the end of the day, I can reshape the zipper allowance, but for now, this is what I want it to look like. So you can see our back pieces. Now I'll go ahead and iron this paper so that it will be flat. So these are my back pieces. I have my number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Then I have the left pieces, and I have the right pieces. I'm trying to merge all of them. So this is what it looks like at the back. The lengths are still irregular at the back, just like the front. The lengths are still irregular. So this is the side seam of the left. I will place it. All the ones that will be on the left, please label them. Then this one, I will start arranging this pattern. This one is the side of the right, the right side seam. So I notice that they are not equal. I'll have to make the full length up. So you can see all of them are equal at the side seam. All of them are equal at their respective side seam. This corset is too irregular. The half length, the full length is just so irregular. So I have a total of 8 pieces here. I have a total of 8 pieces. I have my left sides, and I have my right side. The left, when I say left, I mean from that lacing, I'll start counting left. Then from the other side of the lacing, I'll start counting right. I have 8 pieces here. So I will renumber them. I'll start numbering them. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8. So when I'm joining them, I'll just join number 1 to number 2, number 3, number 4, just like that. And I will get whatever I want. I hope you understand what I am saying. So what I'm going to do right now is that I will start cutting them out on my fabric. And if you are cutting it on your fabric, you'll be cutting them one. There's nothing like cutting them on fold, because all of them have different shapes. So you'll be cutting them one. So this is the back. I'm starting with the back, and add half an inch allowance round everything except the zipper allowance area. And if you cut, you pin, you'll be cutting from the right side of the fabric. So I'm just trying to manage my fabric. So you'll be cutting from the right side of this fabric, and you'll be cutting them up on one piece. There's nothing like cutting on fold, because all the sides of these corsets are irregular. So you'll be cutting each of them one. You have to cut 8 pieces, and those 8 pieces have different shapes. So this is this one, and you'll be adding half an inch seam allowance around all of them. So right now I am done cutting all of them, and I added 1/2 inch seam allowance round all of them except at the zipper allowance. So now I will start placing them according to the way I will join them. Then you also cut out a lining for all of them. Remember to cut out a lining for all of them, and you add gum, like you add interface to all the pieces, both the lining and on the fabric. And this fabric that you are seeing here, I cut all of them from the right side of the fabric to avoid any problem. All these pieces that you are seeing there, the patterns are placed on the right side of the fabric. This is to avoid any problem, to avoid issues or misinterpretation. So you have my number 1, my number 2, my number 3, my number 4, my number 5. Then I have my number 6, my number 7, and my number 8. So you can see the way I am arranging them, and all of them are just so equal at the joining area. So that's it, guys. This is where we are stopping for. This is where we are stopping at for today. Next time, maybe tomorrow or next, I will post a sewing video, and I'll go ahead and cut out the lining exactly the same way I cut out this fabric. So at this point, I was like, I didn't want to get confused. I had to start marking the wrong side of this fabric with a chalk. Like using a chalk, I had to indicate the wrong side of this fabric so that when I'm adding an interface, I will not be confused. All of them, I am indicating the wrong side. This is the wrong side of the fabric. I'm indicating the wrong side to avoid any problem. So guys, we have online training. If you are interested in our online training, you can just drop a comment section. You can just drop a comment in the comment section, and I will direct you on how to register. Also, do not forget to click on the like button. Click on the like button. It is important so that more soulmates will see this video. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell. Click on the notification bell so that anytime I upload the sewing video of this tutorial, you will get notified. Thank you all so much, and see you all in my next video. Bye.